Hi guys, welcome back to Jay Reads. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Today we are talking about House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A Craig. House of Salt and Sorrows is a retelling of the 12 dancing princesses. And in a nutshell, if you're not familiar with the story, it is about a king who has 12 daughters who are going to these extravagant balls and dancing. But he doesn't quite know that. He's just waking up every morning and he's noticing that their shoes are just ragged and torn. And he enlists like this little challenge for any guy in the kingdom pretty much just come into the castle for 3 nights. And if they can tell him on that third night or third day where it is that his daughters are going, what it is that they're doing, and why their shoes look and to be in that condition that they are in, whenever he dies, they can pick whichever princess they choose and become the next king of the kingdom. A House of Salt and Sorrows is a lot different from the 12 Dancing Princesses, although it is a retelling. This story has a lot of murder. So if you are not up for dying princesses, this might not be the story for you. If you're not up for princesses dying and falling off the roof, breaking their necks, this might not be the story for you. But it was definitely the story for me. So first I'm going to give you my spoiler-free review. The story starts out with, yet again, another death in the Highmore family. It is the 4th sister to die out of the 12 sisters, and now we are left with 8. And we are pretty much wondering, like everyone else attending the funeral, what is going on from the perspective of, I believe, the 6th sister, Annalai. And the other sisters could honestly care less. Annalai, out of all of her sisters, is like the only one who's like invested in figuring out what exactly is going on and why are her sisters dying and are they in fact cursed. But she also believes that this is not a coincidence. Like someone is killing off my sisters and I want to get to the bottom of it. And we are kind of like, yeah, let's do this. So I'm like fully invested into the story right from chapter 1. However, we have this stepmom because the mom has died like I think 5-6 years ago. We have this dad who's just kind of mourning and doesn't really know what he's doing. And then we've got the other sisters who are more consumed, like they're just all really thirsty. Let's just call it what it is. They're all super thirsty. They could honestly care less. So we embark on this journey and Annalay eventually finds this magical door and it leads them to this kingdom where they are dancing and the balls are so extravagant and it's beautiful and it's wonderful and all of that good stuff. And that's pretty much all I have to say. The story really takes off at that point and things just get a lot more dark and twisty and scary and grueling, and oh my gosh, you would not imagine. The story was so creepy on so many levels and it was just perfect. I like had my tea, I had my lights slightly dim, not too low to like ruin my eyesight, but not too bright to like not have me afraid in my covers at night. But it was like the perfect amount of scary. But that's all I can say for the spoiler-free review. So if you have not yet read this book, this is a warning to click away now. You've been warned. So, for those of us who have read this book, oh my god, what exactly are your thoughts? I really enjoyed this book. I loved how Erin A Craig started the novel. I love that it was like a little bit of scary and a little bit of mystery, and there was a little pinch of romance, but I wasn't really digging the romance, to be honest. If I could rate House of Salt and Sorrows, I would give it a strong 3.7, 3.8. And let me tell you why. I actually really did enjoy this book. I really did. However, of course, I have my pros and I have my cons. I had the things that I really enjoyed, and then there were some things that kind of like dropped off for me. I like how the story starts out. The plot is super strong. We start with the funeral. We're super invested. And the stepmom. Let's talk about the stepmom for a second. After the second chapter, she was my prime suspect because not only are they at like, was that the repast? That's what I call it. Like after someone's passed and you've had the funeral and you kind of go back to someone's house and you have all the snacks and you talk about, the person, all the good things, and you remember them. That's like the repast. So she's literally at the repast and she's like, what? We have to mourn and be sad for a whole year? I have to wear black and gray for a whole year? But I'm pregnant. Let's celebrate me being pregnant. And this is not really that bad because I'm pregnant. And I was reading that and I was just kind of like, have a little heart here. Their sister just died. Like, she didn't die last month or like last year and they were still like trying to get over it. No, like, homegirl died yesterday and she was just like, yeah, but this is the only black dress I have. And right then I knew. I was like, something's up with this stepmom. Mystery books are usually like that. Like, you call it from the beginning and then like the story takes on and it kind of like miscombobbles your thoughts and you're kind of like, no, it might not be her. And it was her all along. Like, it's always the stepmother. How classic is that in a fairy tale? Annalise is like literally looking for these suspects the entire time, and like she's just so invested and convinced that someone is killing her sister. Someone pushed Eulalie off the roof and she never suspected Morella, like her stepmom, who was super excited about being pregnant, who was like a little discouraged that her twin boys would not take over Highmore because they were boys. The other sisters, they just couldn't care less that their sisters are dying. They could care less that they're possibly cursed. All they wanted to do was like constantly get new shoes, get dressed up, go to these balls, and that was it. Like, that was the peak of their day. They could care less that Eulalie had just fell off the roof and cracked her skull. Like, it was just like, all right, but are we still gonna go dancing tonight? What did you guys think about the romance? I was not completely sold in this romance and it didn't really need to be there. I like when she met Cassius, I was just kind of like, okay, she met him on the docks. She's kind of attracted to him. All right, like this typical kind of stuff. But she's looking for her sister. Your sister just died. I don't have time to fall in love. I don't have time to like care about your hair. Like, she referenced his hair and how curly and soft it was and just how he looked all the time, and oh my goodness, Cassius this and Cassius that. And I was just like, girl, all right, like, is this a story about you falling in love with Cassius, or is this about you finding out who's killing your sisters before you get killed next? I'm just saying. And then we didn't really know if Cassius was like a suspect. And like, it's kind of hard to root for a love story when the person that the character is falling in love with could like literally be the freaking killer. So it was just like that just was really, it just didn't really work for me. Fisher, I loved Fisher. I loved his story. I loved the backstory of him, how his mom was like a maid at Highmore and he grew up with the girls and like they were friends. I was honestly like, oh my god, Fisher is like their close friend, and while he's like helping Annalise figure out what happened to her sisters, they're gonna fall in love and it's gonna be great. And it just wasn't. A goddess of nightmares was coming, like putting them to sleep using Fisher's body. She killed Fisher. Fisher was dead. We don't even know if we ever actually even met Fisher. But I loved Fisher's character. And she was literally in his body, using him, make them fall asleep so that she could take over their dreams and make them dream. Like, the entire thing of them finding the door, going to these magical balls and dancing, they were never dancing. Like, when Rosalie and the other sister, like, what is it? Rosalie and Lagia, they're like dancing and they think they're dancing at a ball, and you just realize like, oh my god, they were dancing and they danced out in the snow and froze to death. Oh my god, my mind was just like, I'm like, I can't. Here's why I gave the book a 3.7. Everything felt completely rushed. Once Annalise and Cassius sail across to the island and they meet finally this like goddess of nightmares and find out that Fisher is in fact dead, and Fisher has been leading them to this death pretty much because they have never been going to these balls. Like, let's get that understood, ladies and gentlemen. There is no ball. There is no such thing as a magical door. There is no magical door. They've been dreaming this the whole time. Annalise gets back to Highmore after coming back from the island, and she tells her father and her sisters like, oh my god, Fisher's dead and all of this is going on, and they're just like, first of all, who's Cassius? And Fisher's been dead for like months. I was just like, whoa, is Anna crazy? This is better than I thought. And then it was just like, no, the goddess of nightmares is still in there controlling everything. Then Marilla goes into the birth. This is where the story just kind of like went yip yip. The fact that Marilla kind of suddenly went into labor, and suddenly like the depth of her baby boy dying, and suddenly she has like this revelation that all of a sudden it just wasn't really worth it. Like, she admits to like killing their mom. She admits to like killing who she kills one of the sisters. Like, some of them died because of the nightmare goddess, the goddess of nightmares, and then the other one she just kind of like helped kill them along the way. So you're like, girl, you are that thirsty for Ortum, who's like 30 years older than you? Like, you're really killing off people to be with this guy who like really dissed you? Like, and then it's like, once she gets into this family and the girls are dying and she feels really, really bad because her son now dies and she's been tricked, it's like, okay, I guess you can just, break this deal because this is not what I thought it would be. Just spare the rest of them and just take me. Take me. And then the ending when her, like, Annalise and her sisters are letting go of the lantern. She's like, oh, when you see a shooting star, that just means our wishes are, like, someone's wishes being given back to them or something like that. And then Cassius comes back. I was just like, it was not, why Cassius? Why not Fisher? Why not her best friend, someone she's known her entire life? Why not one of her sisters? Why not Eulalie? Alright guys, so that is pretty much all I have to say about House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A Craig. I would give this book a solid 3.7. I really enjoyed it and I definitely would read it again. However, just the ending really fell off for me. I just missed the story by a few marks. I already said it in my introduction video, like my booktube newbie tag, that I love mermaids. So of course, seeing this book come in the mail, seeing the cover and like the different shells and the water and the octopus and everything, it like just bringing me back to the sea. Like, I'm in love with this cover. Anyways, what do you guys rate the House of Salt and Sorrows? Would you recommend it? What is your rating? 1 to 5 star. Like I said, mine is 3.7. What are your thoughts? Go ahead and comment down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. And I hope to see you all here next time. Bye-bye.